Maytag knows that if your fridge doesn't keep running, your house can't keep running.
Today, we look at 15 foods you should never refrigerate. While your milk may benefit from the cool temperature, there are a surprising number of food items that don't.
I cry like Snoopy!
Bananas.
Banana?
Most banana lovers know not to put them in the fridge once you get them home from the store. However, there are still some people that think bananas need to be kept in the fridge. They are, of course, wrong. It's safe to say that bananas don't benefit from the cooler climate of a fridge because they are a hot temperature fruit.
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
The cold temperature of the fridge can actually have the reverse effect on the fruit by turning them black quicker. When buying your bananas, be sure to catch them before they're ripe so they can mature at room temperature in your kitchen. The warm temperature helps to ripen the fruit and slows down decay. Another fun fact about bananas, they're great for your blood pressure, but that's only when they are ripe and not rotten. So keep them out of the fridge.
Okay.
Melon.
What about the melon? You ordered melon?
No, I didn't.
Like many fruits that we love to eat, melon is grown in warmer climates and therefore loves warmth. We see this when we go to our local grocery store, as melons aren't kept in the fridge. Usually, a good idea to keep fruit fresher for longer is to do what the stores do. When you take your melon home and place it in the fridge, the cold temperature can speed up the rotting process and also dry out the juicy goodness. Try to keep them in a cool but not cold, dry place.
Got it!
A cupboard or pantry is best, but the counter will work just as well. You'll probably be buying these in the summertime, so we can see how you would want to keep them cold and be tempted to refrigerate them, but don't. Resist the temptation. The best thing to do is cut it up and eat it quickly before it dries up. Once it's cut, if you have some leftovers, then you can store the rest in the fridge for up to 4 days.
I want to eat melon when I want to eat melon.
Potatoes and onions.
Come on, man, you just gotta get used to it.
Cold climates convert starch into sugar much quicker than warm ones. That's not good news for all the potato fans. Whether boiled, mashed, roasted, or sliced up for some homemade fries, we all love a good potato, and you can eat them any way you want. Just don't keep them cold. When you buy them, be sure to keep them in a cool, dry place in your kitchen, such as a pantry. That way they'll last longer and won't turn too hard before cooking.
That's a good reason.
The other rule, apart from not putting them in the fridge, is to never store potatoes next to onions. The gases released by the two food items actually speed up the rotting process for the other. They may go together well in a recipe, but not in the pantry. Onions should also never be refrigerated. Onions don't just rely on warmer climates, they actually depend on clean and open air circulation to keep them fresh.
Did you overcook this?
No, I didn't cook it at all.
Spit it out! It's raw! You're gonna get sick!
Coffee.
That was everything in my fridge.
There are some people out there who keep coffee in the fridge. Come on, you know who you are. Don't worry, there's no shame in it, but you should probably stop ASAP. Those roasted, flavorful beans need good air circulation and dry air in order to breathe and remain fresh. A fridge only keeps the coffee in the moist, cold, trapped air alongside all your other foods. It can also cause a buildup of damp condensation, which is bad news for the taste. A little-known fact about coffee is that it is great at absorbing other flavors around it. So if you keep it in the fridge, your morning coffee might just taste like everything that's in your fridge.
Weird.
Yeah, really weird.
The best thing to do is keep it airtight away from sunlight. Again, preferably in your pantry. That way, the taste and brewing process won't be affected by the cold, and you'll be able to enjoy a nice cup of joe whenever.
From bean to cup, that is how we brew it up.
Hot sauces.
Oh yeah, spicy.
To keep your hot sauce as spicy as possible, avoid sticking it in the fridge. As the name suggests, hot sauce is meant to be, well, hot, not ice cold. Most hot sauces contain vinegar and certain preservatives that slow down molding and bacteria from growing. Although keeping your favorite condiments and hot sources cold won't necessarily speed up the molding process, it might just reduce their strength and power.
Jalapeno margarita. Do we think that's too spicy?
You might think you have taste buds made of steel, but is your fridge helping you out? Next time, keep your bottle of Tabasco on the kitchen counter and see if the heat sticks around longer. We bet you'll notice the difference. Not only that, but keeping your hot sources in the pantry can increase their shelf life by up to 3 years.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I always react this way to spicy food.
Garlic.
no garlic.
Makes me smell like a garlic.
If you want your garlic to sprout those lovely green shoots early, refrigerators will take care of that for you. It will also attract mold on the skin and within the inner layers of each bulb. But if you want to keep it for as long as possible, to the countertop it is. But really, the choice is up to you. But we would recommend keeping it somewhere dry and warm.
Well, you are the boss.
The thing about accidentally putting your garlic in the fridge is that most of the rotting occurs from inside the cloves first. You may think that your garlic is doing fine in the fridge until you need it. Then you peel off the skin and discover the dried out moldy garlic. Even when you have broken open the garlic and used some, don't put the rest in the fridge. This will only speed up the molding. Keep it in a dry place and use it within a couple of weeks.
Garlic intolerant.
Bread.
Shouldn't keep your bread in the refrigerators.
If there's one thing that many people do wrong with their food, it's putting bread in the fridge. We all know this isn't a good thing. After all, they don't sell bread in the refrigerator section in any store. But somehow, many of us think that it will last longer in the fridge. We don't know why or where we heard this from, but many of us still think this to be true. However, it is not.
Staleness is caused by crystallization of the starch molecules, which occurs faster at cool temperatures.
You should never keep bread in your fridge as it makes it look and feel older than it actually is. Cold air speeds up the staling process, which will make it go stale faster. When it comes to bread, the only time it should be in the fridge is in the form of a sandwich. Once the bread is cut and joined with all your favorite fillings, its components act a little differently, and the bread is actually protected. In loaf form, on the other hand, it's a big no-no.
Bread.
Honey.
I simply came here to inquire about honey.
We have all been in a situation when we do a little spring cleaning and find an old jar of honey in the back of the cupboard. We can't remember when we bought it or how long it's been there, but when we try it, the honey still tastes good. Honey is one of those things that can take years before spoiling when kept in an airtight jar.
Oh, that explains everything.
No one really knows why, but if you keep honey in the fridge, this won't happen. If you keep this sweet item in your fridge, you might see it crystallize, which will give it a tough texture. It will make scooping nature's nectar that much harder and your oatmeal and yogurt a lot less satisfying. That's because the cold air speeds up the process of making the honey go bad very quickly. The best thing to do is put it in the pantry, and you can pretty much leave it there indefinitely.
You put it on the fridge!
Peanut butter.
I almost lost it when you said to put it on the fridge.
Whether you like crunchy or smooth, we can all agree that peanut butter is enjoyed best when you can actually spread the darn stuff. There's nothing worse than going to make a PB&J sandwich and having to wait for it to warm up to stick your knife in. Keeping it in the fridge hardens the spread and makes it hard to actually apply to bread.
I hate crunchy. You can't spread it.
The cold air thickens the peanut butter just as it does with regular butter. But more than that, the fridge will actually affect the flavor of your favorite spread. As like other condiments, peanut butter can absorb other flavors around it. The best thing to do next time is keep it in the cupboard and avoid this problem altogether. No longer will the bread have to battle between hard peanut butter and soft jelly.
Creamy peanut butter is a ripoff. Where's the nuts?
Pickles.
I turned myself into a pickle!
Everyone has a jar of pickles in the fridge. However, it may be interesting to know that keeping pickles in the fridge is a bad idea. Apparently, not many people know this, but it's true. It was news to us. A jar of pickles contains the same vinegar that hot sauces and other condiments do, meaning refrigerators will have the same effect on your favorite pickled cucumbers and dull the flavor. It can be tempting to keep these things fresh in the fridge, but you're actually doing the opposite.
Are you judging me?
The vinegar will react a lot quicker if it is stored in a cold place. It's best to keep these in a cupboard in your kitchen and save refrigeration for only a few minutes if necessary. Maybe just before you cut them for a salad or a snack. If kept in an airtight jar, your pickles will last for a very, very long time.
Whose pickle is this?
Ketchup.
Stupid fridge. Stupid fridge, guys.
There's one big debate among condiment lovers everywhere, and that is, where do you keep your ketchup? In the fridge or in the cupboard? Most of us probably keep our ketchup in the fridge once it's open. That does seem like the sensible thing to do. However, this would be the wrong thing to do. The vinegar in the sauce reacts badly to the cold air over time, making the tomato ketchup lose its flavor, thicken even more, and taste more vinegar-like than tomato-like.
Thank you, vinegar.
It's best to keep it in the cupboard where it belongs, and it will keep the taste and flavor for a lot longer. This will also prevent the runny, watered residue we all hate and try to avoid. The same can be said for other condiments with high amounts of vinegar, such as soy sauce. So keep it in mind once you crack open that new bottle.
Who's this?
I told you I'm seeing someone else.
Hi, I'm Heinz's new mustard.
Avocados.
We have all these beautiful avocados from Mexico, but where are the chips?
Most food lovers know that the best time to purchase avocados is just before they're completely ripe. The reason for this is because avocados have a very short shelf life once ripe. The best thing to do is buy an underripe avocado and leave it on the counter while it finishes its ripening process.
No, I don't know how to pick out an avocado. Well, they gotta be soft. How soft? Not too soft.
This will make for the perfect avocado, as well as the perfect guacamole. However, there are some people that put avocados in the fridge as soon as they buy them. This is not a good idea, as the fridge will slow down or stop the ripening stage entirely, and you'll be left with hard and inedible avocados. Unfortunately, the battle begins as the avocado fights nature and the brownness that follows. Putting it in the fridge after it's ripe might slow this down a little, but not very much. The best thing to do is eat those avocados as soon as they're ripe.
You are the avocado master.
Tomatoes.
You're a tomato! A tomato doesn't have logic! A tomato can't move!
We understand the urge to put a nice cold tomato in your sandwich or salad, especially in the summertime. It just brings an unexplainable freshness to your food. But putting a tomato in the fridge can cause the fruit to gain a grainy, weird texture. It will also help the tomato lose most of its flavor and juiciness.
My brother was squeezed to death.
It might disappoint tomato lovers to learn that this succulent fruit, yes, it is a fruit, should be kept at room temperature and not in the fridge. The best way to store tomatoes is in a warm and dry area, avoiding the growth of crystals and accelerated rotting. If you want them chilled in a salad, consider putting them in the fridge for a few minutes before you cut them, but the rest of the time, leave them on the counter.
Vegetable counter.
Peppers.
You won't eat my stuffed peppers, but you'll eat our son?
Okay, we're about to break down a commonly held myth for you all. Fridges don't add crispness or increase the spiciness of peppers or any other salad items for that matter. We know you've probably spent your entire life thinking that this was true, but it's not.
How dare you!
How dare I?
Consider this myth debunked. In fact, the cold temperature will decrease the spiciness of your favorite peppers and also soften them, not make them crunchier. The cold air adds moisture and in a short amount of time will make the peppers go soggy. This is actually true for most salad items, lettuce and cucumbers in particular. The best thing to do is keep them in a bag in a dry place to keep as much of the taste as possible. That way you'll be sure to have a nice crispy salad every time.
Noted.
Tropical fruits.
Bring back the fridge! Bring back the fridge!
When it comes to fruit, our instinct is to put it all in the fridge. However, there are very few fruits that should actually go in the fridge. Tropical fruits are a particular no-no when talking about refrigerating. What's one thing tropical fruits all have in common? Mangoes, passion fruit, coconut, and pineapple are all grown in hot climates, meaning they are literally designed to retain their texture and moisture in warm temperatures.
Typical tropical island.
That's why it's not advised to keep them in the fridge. They're simply not used to it. Next time, store these on the counter in your kitchen, but be sure to wrap them in protective materials to keep the flies at bay. It must also be noted that non-tropical fruit, such as apples and pears, shouldn't go in the fridge either. They, too, should be kept at room temperature.
My poor fridge. Who did this to you?
Try out more great videos. Just tap or click. Then hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell.